Hey guys, it's me, Miss Jaidynn your Fierce. And guess what time it is? Yep, it is that time of the week to do another naked review of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 2. Are you ready? Now, first, as I've been doing every week, let's talk about this week's naked look. Now today, I am rocking a nice, good old, can I speak to your manager because I am upset with everything in the store or at the restaurant wig. I mean, not wig, this is my hair. I don't wear wigs. This is my hair. I don't wear wigs. This is my hair. I don't wear wigs. Yeah. This is not a wig. I just grew this out my scalp about 3 minutes ago. I am wearing my nice, cute little, come on for the bob. I got on a Bob the drag queen today. And of course, now it cannot be complete without a cute little Jaidynn's jewels. Yes. Catch the Jaidynn's jewels cuff. I'm trying not to move my natural roots too far back so you don't catch my edges. Now today I'm gonna be a little bit rushed. I got a gig to go to, honey. I am running behind. So let's get started. Now today's episode starts like any other episode, and last week, if you did not see, spoiler alert, Tatiana went home and I was so sad to see her go, but this is a whole nother week. And of course, one of these girls or some of these girls or all of the girls, who knows, will eventually come back. So I'm just waiting for the episode. I'm like, okay, so when are y'all gonna bring whichever queen back? Because I'm like really like waiting on that like right about now. Like I need to see that. I'm really curious and I'm pretty sure y'all are too. Oh, child, y'all gonna have to excuse my left lash, honey. My I am a difficult parent hairdo is like really making me have a good old lazy eye. Yes, for the lazy eye, don't clock me. So this week's episode is entitled The History of the World. Well, I guess that's the Maxi Challenge. I don't think it's the name of the episode. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Now, when I heard History of the World, I was just like, oh, glad I'm not on All Stars this episode. I was one of the ones, now I'm pretty sure that a couple of y'all at least can relate. I think I'm a little bit ADD or ADHD or something because I was always the one. History class, history is easy because you're just learning like events that happened in the past. But the hardest part for me is I have a very low attention span. I think I have an attention span of a cat or a turtle or something like that. Because every single time it came to history class, girl, I was the one to pay attention for about 3 minutes. And then after about 3 minutes, I started thinking of unicorns and berries and cats and dogs and squirrels and how the world goes around in 24 hours. So I was thinking, oh, well, I'm glad I ain't on this episode because I would have been going home. But now when you mix the music with the history, I was like, oh, okay. They doing like a musical. Okay, now you barking up my tree. Y'all doing a good old Rusical is what they call it. A good old Rusical. A Rusical. That is the word of the day, a Rusical. A Rusical. This lash is letting me have it. So we have special guest choreographers Ant and Ash on this episode. Now I haven't heard of them, but apparently they've done like all kinds of like amazingly, famously talented artists. So maybe I should look them up and follow them on Instagram to see what they up to. But they have 2 choreographers and they begin working on the Maxi Challenge. The most tricky part about RuPaul's Drag Race when you're packing your clothes and you're trying to get to the gig, you never know what those clothes are gonna be for. You don't know if it's gonna be for a runway. You don't know if it's gonna be for the Maxi Challenge. You really don't know. So some of the girls decided to bring big overdone costumes, which of course is RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. Like, hello, of course you're gonna bring like some big costumes and different things like that. Well, Ginger Minge brought like a huge, gigantic poof dress that was rather large. Also, Katya brought, you know, a wedding dress that was really, really long. And as soon as I was like, oh my gosh, so these girls are about to do some choreography with these ball gowns and long dresses. See, that was a setup. Hashtag setup. Because, honey, they trying to get somebody to slip and fall and trip over their good old blouse. And then you'll have your good old TV moment. See, I know the tea. I know what they was doing. That was being slick wet. I was noticing also, I always like to watch RuPaul's Drag Race because it's so amazing to see girls, especially ones that you already know, that you're not necessarily that close to see if they have something in common. I saw a little bit of me on season 7 in Detox because as she was doing her choreography and trying to learn everything, you know, Ant and Ash was just like, oh, well, no, you're not doing, you know, it's not funny and it's not, and she's like, honey, it's all up here. You got to realize that us professionals, it's all up top. It's all in the cranium. And me and Detox, we be having it all up in the cranium, up in our heads, you know, and then when it's time for the show, then we can put on the big show. So I wasn't really that worried about Detox because I was just like, I know she's gonna slay this. You know, I'm not concerned. It was time for the Maxi Challenge and everybody is on stage and they start this musical. Now, of course, Alaska is playing Eve, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I believe it was Eve. And when the song came on, tell me why I thought it was Britney Spears. Did y'all not clock that? I'm telling you, I'm like the #1 Britney Spears like fan, I guess, as far as my drag. And honestly, statistically, out of any artist that I've done more Britney Spears songs than any other artist like in my drag career. So I almost was about to hit it because I thought she was about to come out with some, oh baby, baby, was I supposed to know? But I was just like, yes, for the vocals. I think Britney did like a good old what you call it, a little sound bite up in there. I said, yes, Britney. But Alaska is coming out and she's slaying, and I'm really liking this Rusical that they are putting on. So I'm just trying to look for the flaws, as I'm pretty sure y'all were. Literally everybody throughout the whole thing just pretty much slayed it. Oh my gosh, it was giving me life. And I really liked how all of the girls like really did embrace their character. You know, I loved all the silly faces and I loved the entire challenge from beginning to end. This is by far probably one of my favorite acting / musical theater challenges. You know, it's probably neck and neck with Glamazonian Airways. However, I still loved my doing Glamazonian Airways much better my season. But I really loved it and everybody was slaying it. And I really didn't know who to critique. And honestly, out of the whole group and out of all the performances, Katya, I did expect a lot more from, because Katya is already crazy and already like over the top. Now, however, Katya altered her costume as well. She did cut off that huge long train, which is probably the same thing I would have done. Like once I found out there was like a little bit of movement, you know, I just would have been scared about tripping and falling over. And the stage is not that, you know, non-slip in the first place and fall and bust my pussy wide open on the runway, because that would not be cute. And it would just be my luck that I would do something like that. I expected Katya to be a lot more like crazy, entertaining, and funny like she naturally is. And I mean, it was okay. It was cute. But I was just kind of like, I expect a little bit more. But did she do a bad job? Absolutely not. She still slayed the part. I just wish she would have just put a lot more of the facial expressions. And I feel like she was just looking straight at the camera the whole time. Did y'all think that? Comment below. Like, I just felt like she was just looking straight at the camera the entire time and like focusing on the camera and not like really focusing on the character. So, but I mean, she still did a good job, and I was just like, oh, well, I mean, this is probably the hardest deliberation, maybe even in Drag Race history. I don't know, but at least from as far as I can remember, like that was like a really good challenge. Like everybody pretty much did a really good job. My favorite part of RuPaul's Drag Race, if you watched my previous episodes, you would know that the runway is my favorite part, and I have a section in my videos called Who Am I Living For and Who Am I Dying For? Well, this week I wanted to punch her because she's so effing sickening. I was just like, oh my God. That might be one of my favorite outfits in Drag Race history. Fifi O'Hara. I am living for Fifi O'Hara. She came out in the blue with, I believe it was like gold blades everywhere, and oh my gosh. Now the runway this episode was the future of drag. Now however, this runway is probably one of my favorite runways of any runway theme. Like I would have loved to do the future of drag. The look that I was dying for was Alyssa Edwards. I love me some Alyssa Edwards, but I felt like that look was like, it seemed like she went to like a costume shop and got the little headpiece, which, I mean, the headpiece and like the top jacket wasn't too bad if it was mixed with something else. Even the boots went well with the headpiece and like the little shoulder piece thing. But the tutu, I was just like, I'm confused. It's like a tutu Martian from outer space. I really didn't understand the look. However, I love Miss Alyssa, but I was dying for her look this week. So the top two who will be lip syncing would be Alyssa and Detox. And I will definitely say both of these girls are amazing entertainers. So I was so excited to see who was gonna slay the stage. Now, in the end, Alyssa Edwards won. She came out and she was doing her splits and her turns and giving her sexiness and her hair whips. I just live for Alyssa Edwards. Congratulations, sister, for slaying this episode. However, that means that they would have had to pick one of the girls to go home. In the end, Alyssa Edwards ended up picking Ginger. Now, do I agree or do I disagree on her picking Ginger to leave the competition? Now, I think for me, that probably would have been the hardest of the hardest, especially if I was in that position. You know, especially both of those are the season 7 sisters. I'm like, oh no, honey, my sisters from my season is in the bottom 2, not together and not on ALLSTARS. Like, no. And so I was just really upset about that. Now, as far as who I would have picked, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, because that would have been just a really hard choice for me. I really would have had to just go back and really just sit down and think about which girl deserved it the most. What do y'all think? Like, who do y'all really think should have went home? Do y'all still think that Ginger should have went home? Or do you guys think that Katya should have went home instead? I just want to know, because I'm kind of in the middle. That's just really, really hard for me. So in the end, Alyssa picks Ginger to head home, because I did like that Alyssa went up and said, you know what, I respect you, you know, and I can imagine it could be so hard to send a sister home. I was definitely sad to see Ginger go, but we'll have to see. Now, at the end of the episode, you know, Ru comes on the screen every episode to the eliminated queen and says, oh, by the way, you have a chance to come back. First, Ginger was like, oh, well, I respect your decision. And then she was just like, oh, well, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get my revenge on Alyssa Edwards. I fell out. Yes, you better go in. You better get your revenge. I'm so excited for next week's episode. I'm so sorry I had to rush this one. I have a gig. I have to leave my house in like 15-20 minutes. So, and I still got to put on some actual clothes, because y'all know I likes to be naked for my reviews. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I cannot wait for next week's episode. Make sure you guys like and subscribe this video if you love me the most. And I cannot wait to see y'all next week. Oh, and make sure y'all follow me on Instagram and Twitters, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like, that'll really make my pussy happy, because I love when I get some new subscribers. And make sure you guys comment. All right, until next time, I love you guys. Thank you so much. And remember, work that puss.